Hey everybody, welcome to Game Mess Mornings with me, Jeff Grubb, your host from giantbomb.com. Thank you for tuning in. In this episode, we're going to be talking about another set of glowing reviews for a new game, and a Nintendo Direct is happening this week. It's going to be a good one because we have Jeff Bakalar on the show. Jerf, how are you doing?
I am doing swell. Thank you for having me. It's good to be back on the GMM.
Yeah, we're making it happen for sure. We were talking about pinball before we got started. What was the first like great pinball machine? Is there like a one where it's like, oh, this is when they really figured it out in like the 80s or whatever?
I don't. I'm sure there's stuff from the 80s. Terminator gets a lot of that credit. For me personally, there was a game I think it was called Top Speed, which is like a police cruiser game. But that was like my first like bowling alley game. For me, right. Addams Family just sort of owns that. It's the best-selling pinball game of all time. That one just, I think, spoke to an entire generation in a way that has been, lasting, unlike anything like it.
It's weird how Addams Family's like cultural footprint spreads out so much wider than the show or whatever. Where it's
That's
like
right.
that Fester's Quest on the NES. Everyone had that. Everyone had this Addams Family pinball table. The movies actually were fantastic. I haven't watched the new animated ones. I wonder if those are any good.
I've heard decent stuff about the new animated ones. I've heard they're okay. Which as long as it's somewhat new Addams Family content, we're being well served. But yeah, those two 90s ones are just, they've aged so well. Also, like they're immaculate.
Also, we might have had fishing week a bit too early, right? Are you gonna have a fishing week here in your life pretty soon, you think?
I'm getting all these photos of my son going fishing in sleepaway camp, and he's catching all kinds of fish that I cannot place a name to because
we can't identify him. We were looking at it. I'm like, is it a perch? Oh man, I don't know.
You said perch. I didn't know a fish called it was named perch. I just know like trout and like I don't know.
Everything I caught was a bluegill. That didn't look like a bluegill. That's all I know.
No, it had red in it. So
yes.
Yeah, it's amazing. He's a fisher person. It's incredible to see. I bet you this, Grubb. I bet you he's not taking them off the line though.
He's getting a little help with that. Yeah,
like
your boy.
Professional with gloves or something.
I can catch him. I don't do the little work. That's for you people. Yeah,
no, you pay someone for that. That's what we're paying for.
I think I was definitely like at that age when I was catching fish in Boy Scouts was like, I need some help with this, especially putting the worms on the hook. I was never good at that. That was difficult for me, and also a little icky. All right, let's explain ourselves. We're Giant Bomb. We're a bunch of internet video game doofuses, and we're going to keep hanging out here with your help. If you go to giantbomb.com/join, become a premium member, you're going to be supporting us, supporting independent games media, ensuring we can keep doing things the way we like to do them, and we really appreciate everyone who has supported us. Thank you so much. If you come through and do exactly that, though, if you have not so far, you're going to get ad-free versions of our shows. You're going to get premium exclusive content. We're recording a new episode of Cat Jerfman here pretty soon. So the premium blights will be underway. I think that's something to be pretty excited about because it really enables us to do some even weirder and stranger stuff on that show. I'm very excited about it. That has been a lot of fun so far. You looking forward to getting back in there?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to donning the outfit is what I'll say. I wear it on the weekends for shits and giggles,
recreational purposes. Yeah,
that's exactly right. No, it's been a lot of fun. That game is real dumb, and I think we're having a good laugh making our way through it, and it's fun. There, I said it. I'm having fun playing the bad game, and I hope you'll join us when that show starts posting.
It is like it has been sort of revelatory for the rest of us on Blight Club, where we kind of keep looking left and right, like me, Dan, and Mike at each other, being like, wait, this game is still bad. It's still Blight Club, but it's not the absolute, utter, like, devastating trash garbage we've been giving to each other. We could be playing Catwoman, and yet for some reason we keep giving each other Space Ace and Virtuoso and whatever else now. And, yeah.
Don't blame yourself. Don't blame yourselves. blame the paying audience.
Yeah.
That is who you should be blaming, because
They knew what they were doing.
They knew what they were doing. They had every opportunity to make this bad, and they made it good. So
Yes.
This is what I always say. I say this internally, little peek behind the curtain. Blame the audience.
Blame the audience. It's a classic trick here at Giant Bomb.
You'll get me next time, everyone. You'll get me next time.
As far as this show goes, most weekdays, I, Jeff Grubb, will help piece your gaming life back together. That includes breaking news and maybe even some of our own original reporting. For all these topics, I'll get the input of a bona fide expert who will make me look smart. If you are watching live on Twitch, welcome. You can always listen to the show later on podcast feeds by searching for Game Mess Mornings or find the RSS feed on giantbomb.com. You can also catch the show later with chapters and timestamps on YouTube. Hello, YouTube. All right, we have a lot to get into. Before we do that real quick, there's a Big Walk quick look up everyone should go check out. We got that going over the weekend. Sean made sure that was ready to go. So go check that out on the site. Go check it out on YouTube. It's got multiple perspectives, so you can really get a good look at what that game's all about. We start from the beginning. So there's not if you kind of just want to check in and peek in and see what the experience is like, you're not going to get a ton of spoilers because we didn't know what the fuck we were doing. Jeff Bakalar did know what he was doing, but he kept it quiet so we could discover it ourselves. So yeah, you're not going to get in there and actually get spoiled or anything. So eventually you will, but I don't know, just check out the first 10 minutes and see if you want, because people are talking good things about this game. And yeah, Big Walk reviews are in, and the game seems to be doing very well. I'm going to double check OpenCritic right now and see if they updated with an actual score so far. They have it, but it's got like a 93 over on Metacritic. Yeah, very, very good. 5 stars from Chris Schilling at Eurogamer. The Untitled Goose Game team returns with a funny, exciting, and deeply rewarding multiplayer adventure that combines knockabout fun with some surprisingly big ideas. 5 stars from Imran Khan at Restart.Run. I think what Big Walk does that's so compelling is that it grabs the little part of your brain that is begging to be enriched by curiosity and interaction and massages it ever so gently with your friends as the background. That is not something that you can simply drop people into and hope happens. It is meticulously crafted and planned by expert hands. And then an 8 out of 10 from Marcus Kenneth at CG Magazine. Big Walk delivers on a promise that's rare in cooperative games. Nothing here is scripted, and the funniest moments are ones that the game couldn't have planned, even if it wanted to. So yeah, it's kind of like it's an emergent sort of gameplay, or an emergent friend hangout zone thing that is enwrapped by a sort of multiplayer mist experience where you have all of these puzzles that are just standing there. They're in front of you. And then it's up to you to sort of figure out what can you poke and prod at either right there in the puzzle or elsewhere in the world to solve that problem. And then it sort of develops that idea in multiple directions, but the biggest one being time and space, time, space, and the way sound works, and I guess the way lighting works. So you could split up and start going in different directions, and it's very hard to hear from a distance. So you have to use visuals, like storytelling to each other, where you're using your arms, or eventually you get walkie-talkies, but those are few and far between, at least early on. So you have to kind of use those sparingly, or find the right people to have those, and then kind of split up into groups and plan and organize. And then if you do get split up, it's I'm looking out in the dark and I could see 2 lights walking through the woods. I'm like, oh, there's the guys. Yep. Let's see if we can we should probably just try to get their attention, get them over here. All this stuff sort of just happens emergently, while it is this very designed island. It is not, for example, other friend slop games, which I always use affectionately. It's where it is procedurally generated, and you're getting a different island each time. No, this is designed, and they kind of knew what they were doing with that. And I immediately was okay, I'm getting lost in this world and having a great time figuring it out with friends. So yeah, you played it with us. What'd you think?
Yeah, I think what's so amazing about this is, this game took a minute to make too, right? This is definitely a labor of love for a while. And I think it's such a testament to how meticulous everything was sort of placed, the sort of tools, the suite of sort of tools in this kind of sandbox thing is so hard to kind of put yourself outside of what you probably become so close to and so intimate with during the development process, to just like have that kind of confidence and willingness to take this kind of risk is really impressive to me. I really think that sort of careful decision making is something to really be celebrated. And this is just like, what's amazing about this is like, this is just the beginning, right? Like, this is just like review time.
Mm-hmm.
No one's played this in a way that we are going to start to see all the amazing clips and all the amazing stuff that is birthed by this game. And I do, yes, I remember when I first saw this game and I was talking with the developers, you said you have this affectionate friend slap genre sort of thing. Like, I think they know like that can be an affectionate kind of thing. They definitely were like, "Oh my God, we can't hear that anymore." And that's not what you mean, right?
And most people when they're like, and like I've seen people talk like, this is not just friend slop, and it's like there's a distinction here. This is not
for sure.
Feels very different from a lot of those games that become big streaming hits and stuff like that.
Totally, and there's undoubtedly overlap too. Like you can't you can't decouple those two things. The amazing thing though is that Big Walk just like carves out its own little spot in a way, not even little, like its own substantial spot that none of those games can touch. Like they are just light years behind. And that's okay because like the way in which you are sort of meant to play this game like demands that you have this thing. I guess like if you don't have any friends, this is bad. Like get friends for sure. Get like good friends. Because if you don't have good or get a good friend, singular. Because if you don't, this is gonna be rough for you. I want to say, right?
Yeah, I definitely already feel it's like, man, I want to play more of this, and like we have a lot of like excuses to make that happen, but we're very busy. It's like, can we like get ourselves together to play this again? And it's already like, man, I hope we can figure that out. If you're someone in life that like stresses about trying to like get your friends time and say, hey, like let's commit to this, at the very least I think you're going to have one that most people are going to come away with being like, that was worth it. I'm glad we played that. So like this is going to be an easy sort of convincing sort of thing.
It's just going to take a half hour, right? Like it's like you're going to pop into this. The onboarding is super simple. I mean, even for the most sort of like casual players, I think you're going to get onboarded real fast. And once you realize like, oh, what you are kind of meant to do and explore, I don't see how you could even play for a half hour. I feel like that first session is going to be 90 minutes and you're just going to realize like, oh my gosh, like we're doing this thing together. It's, you love to see it. Like who is not instantly sort of falling in love with this thing and the sort of playful and careful, it's funny. I think that like, it just gives you all the pieces to just be so funny and thoughtful. Can't say enough good stuff about it.
I'm looking forward to getting in there and spending some more time with it. It's like it has its hooks into me where I'm like, man, I want to solve. I can think of a couple puzzles that we came across that we couldn't solve. I'm like, well, we got to figure that stuff out. I have some theories. That is a lot of fun, and it does like scratch the missed part of my brain while also being like, this is something completely different. And just goofing off with friends is something that games are not just good at, like it's like very good at it. And we have clearly figured that out in the last couple years since the pandemic and all this friend slap stuff has happened. And stuff like Peak has just been like, yeah, that is the entire thing we're doing here. And then now like to take that concept and especially proximity chat and be like, all right, now let's build on top of that in different directions. That's what this is doing. It's like, oh, this is a whole genre that is yet like, it's not even close to being tapped. We haven't really figured out all the things that this can do. And this is showing us, it's like, yeah, there is space for that. And it's not like some big barrier that we're putting out a game that requires you to play with friends. That's actually a benefit, and it's probably going to lead to more success for it. I think a lot of big studios would be afraid of that. That's why we don't get a lot of games like Joseph Ferris's 2-player only cooperative games. That is like, oh, people need 2 people that are 2 players. That's like a scary thing, like that we're going to have to tell a person you're going to have to either get 2 copies and they have ways to solve for that. But I think to realize it's like, man, people really like playing games together. That's almost the whole point for a huge subset of our audience.
That's right.
Let's serve more of that up. And I think this is delivering exactly that. All right, there's a new Nintendo Direct dropping tomorrow dedicated to Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave. This is from Dave Aubrey at VGC. A new Nintendo Direct will be premiering in less than 24 hours, entirely dedicated to the upcoming Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave. The presentation will debut at 7 a.m. Pacific time and will be roughly 20 minutes long, detailing new features for the Nintendo Switch 2 exclusive. These are the times. They basically list all the times here. It's 7 a.m. Pacific time. That's 10 a.m. Eastern. Let's see, 4 p.m. CEST, which I know a lot of people probably live in. There's a whole bunch of other times here. But yeah, you get the idea. The full announcement post from Nintendo reads as follows. The heroic games are approaching. Tune in on August 4th at 7 a.m. Pacific time for the Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave Direct. Roughly 20 minutes of new information about the game. They've been doing these like a little bit more frequently. The game dedicated Nintendo Directs. They have a lot to talk about in terms of like their other games. Like we are like all kind of waiting for more information about Zelda, about Duskbloods, which they're working with FromSoft on. And they didn't show a lot of that during the last Nintendo Direct, which happened in the summer Game Fest timeframe, the E3 timeframe. And so, like, a lot of us are like, when are we going to get more information about that? I still think that's probably like a direct or something in September, or maybe these games get their own dedicated directs like this. But this game's coming up much sooner than that, so they did have to kind of come out and really give us more information. And I guess, yeah, I'm definitely wondering when it comes to Fire Emblem, what's going to be different this time, because that's a series that could be a lot of different things. In the past, you know, it's traditionally just been like, hey, it's a tactical RPG, a strategy RPG sort of game. But then they always have a layer of like, okay, and here's how the characters interact with one another. Maybe this time they are, they're an army and they can have kids together, and those kids come from the future back to the past and you fight alongside them. Or this one, you're in a school and here's how like the relationships are very different. This one's supposed to be more of a follow-up to the one that had the school three houses. There's some character crossover just a little bit. And so I'm like wondering, how does that like present? Is there school stuff? Is there something that kind of stands in it that's very similar? And so people get that information. And then I'm always curious of like, just tell me how I'm going to be interacting with the strategy element. That is why I show up, and how is that going to be different? So yeah, 20 minutes on this. We'll get that information. And this is one of Nintendo's bigger games of the year. So here we are, Bakalar. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, you know, is this the first Fire Emblem that's gotten this kind of direct treatment?
I don't know. I don't remember. That's a good question.
Because, you know, for me, you know, I've never really gotten into one of these before, and I feel like when Nintendo kind of like dedicates this amount of time to a thing, they're sort of like planting their flag in the ground and making it like a tentpole kind of thing that they don't do for everything.
Fire Emblem has definitely like raised its profile to that point. It is definitely one of Nintendo's more top tier franchises. You know, it's not Mario and Zelda, but it is in that next tier. It is like, it does sit alongside stuff like Splatoon, although maybe not sales wise. Splatoon.
Uh-oh. Jeff.
Uh-oh.
Grubb. Broke.
Oh no.
What?
You know, you bring up Fire Emblem once to a person.
Yeah. Yeah.
And this is what happened.
He got Splatooned.
He got raided? He got Splatoon raided?
I think that's what happened.
You think his house is covered in goo now?
Yeah, he's covered with squids. Let's see.
He's just a goo boy? Oh, there he is.
Did I disconnect there?
We lost you for a long second.
Lost you for about 25 seconds.
Okay. All right. That's concerning. Maybe my internet's acting up again. Hopefully that doesn't happen again. But let's, yeah. So basically, Fire Emblem is kind of raised its profile, and Nintendo has gotten to a point where they definitely want to like make that clear. And I think that they want to make it feel special. So I think, to your point, yes, I think this direct does speak to that. Now, you know, the details, we'll get those tomorrow, and we'll see exactly how this is different. But yeah, I expect us to get this, and then there probably will just be a more general direct in September, because we do got to hear about that Zelda, right? We got to hear about Duskbloods. What those games are coming out this year, and we still kind of know nothing.
You know, I know Fortune's Weave is about 5 weeks out, 6 weeks out, give or take, right? And Duskbloods, to me, I mean, you know, I'm speaking for my own sort of opinion, what I care about. Like, that's the thing that to me, that's the bigger sort of black box of like, what is just happening there. And the Zelda stuff is also kind of opaque in a way that we know it's a remake, but it's like there needs to be some information filled in between now and when we're going to see this thing. It's interesting the cadence for which this stuff comes out. I gotta say though, like now that we've seen the behavior of how these directs sort of work, like this could be a 12-hour notice, you know, for the next time they want to spend talking about something. So I'm not. There's no reason to sound any kind of alarm just yet because these things change overnight.
That is. I think that might also be a good point where it's like, a general direct in September could happen, but Duskbloods is a big partnership with From Software. You might want to just like sort of establish the credentials of that game on its own with that audience. Do something like this for that game, and then Zelda will be sort of it has taken over the mantle, taken the torch for the anniversary celebration where they were just doing that with Mario, which was like, was at the 40th anniversary. Mm-hmm. And now it's like Zelda's 40th anniversary. And I think they're like, okay, maybe we can have a big direct that does explain the game, but then talks about the movie and other stuff that we are doing to celebrate. Like there's been ongoing rumors of like, there will be a Zelda themed a console or a Switch 2 that is Zelda themed for the 40th anniversary, maybe, and not even just for the game or the movie, but just for Zelda generally. And it's like, if they have that, they probably have a bunch of other stuff that they want to talk about. And so, Zelda very easily could just get its own direct here very soon. All right. Wolverine's going to get his butt out. This is from John Walker at Kotaku. Breaking news, we're probably going to see Wolverine's ass in Marvel's Wolverine when it releases on PlayStation 5 on September 15th, as spotted by MP First, according to the ESRB content description, which assigns Wolverine a mature 17+ rating. We shall all have the pleasure of a character's exposed buttocks, which is a quote. It's been made extremely clear that Insomniac's approach to Wolverine is very different from that of the studio's Spider-Man series, with its first trailer back in June proving to be extraordinarily violent. Since then, we've seen the adamantium-infused anti-hero kicking ass in a far less gory teaser, leading to some backlash about Logan's weird-looking face. Oh, I didn't see that. Was there puddle news about
weird.
that?
Who's deciding that his face is weird looking?
I missed that meeting. I don't know. But soon we shall...
This guy's got a weird looking face. I don't like him.
That's not Canadian. That's not what Canadians look like. But soon we shall be turning our attention to how he appears at the other end of the eating process. Oh, very good, John Walker. With the ESRB revealing that among the violence, blood, cursing, and drug references, we will also see a handful of sequences briefly depicting a character's exposed buttocks. I think we all probably are assuming. John writes here, but we're all assuming that is Wolverine, right? We're going to see Wolverine's butt.
Sure. No one's had the nerve to show his full ass yet in any kind of popular media. I'm glad this is it. I'm also glad like this is the M-rated content we're talking about in the game and not the fact that my man is just like ripping organs out of people, every way imaginable. But that's cool. It's all
just
good.
Chunks of body parts and bodily fluids just flying all over the place. Yeah, it's this was a game that I heard early on was going to go for the extreme R rating of when Hollywood says like, hey, we're going to do that. We're going to make a movie that's a real R-rated movie.
Right.
And that's like the vibe that they were going for internally. That first trailer definitely established that. Absolutely. And it's like, and if you're going to do that, you might as well just make it a full, like, this is an adult theme, adult concepts and mature themes. And to video games, that still means we're going to see ass.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess like Spider-Man sold very, very well. It's a game anyone can play.
That's right.
Wolverine does feel like it should be able to like appeal to everybody, but he's also a character that is kind of famous for like, he just slices dudes up. Like if we were gonna get him, we want him to really be slicing dudes up. So I think this was necessary. Do you think this is still going to work for this game though?
I think it's going to work, but like, am I crazy in assuming it just won't sell as well as Spider-Man? Like
I don't. Right. That's like it feels like like Wolverine is like for Marvel, it is like Spider-Man, definitely number one most popular character. But and then X-Men are right there. But like, and Wolverine is the most popular X-Man.
Sure,
he is. But then you add in this stuff like, it's R-rated and very gory. Is this something that families pick up? Maybe not as much, but I don't know. Maybe the audience is so robust for people over 18, older people on PlayStation that this could do very well. You know what? I think it's not going to sell quite as well as Spider-Man.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to do well. Obviously, the pedigree and the character, like all those things, just by virtue of like the separation between these two sort of things, like. Spider-Man and Wolverine games probably could not be more dissimilar, right? Like they are just, aside from just being, action single player, but like, and that's not a bad thing, right?
Right. No, yeah. It's just, I think it's just, like, for me, I was definitely thinking about this morning, Bakalar, and I was like, this is a team that had done a couple Spider-Man games, several. There's three, like, if you count the standalone Miles Morales game, which you should. And they have all sold extremely well. This team works fast. But now they're trying to like sort of spread out and do other stuff. And we've seen the internal, like the leak to the hacked stuff that was like, and they're going to like eventually turn this into an X-Men game that they're going to make down the line. And so, okay, yeah, but what if this game sells like noticeably less than Spider-Man? Doesn't that just say like, oh, you guys should just go keep pumping out the Spider-Man games? Because it's not like those games just sell well. They are by far PlayStation's best-selling games ever. Yeah, and it's like at a certain point they look at it as an opportunity cost. And an opportunity lost if they have this team working on something that's not selling as well as Spider-Man. Now, it's not what I want. I want them to keep trying different stuff and then dipping back into Spider-Man because I really enjoy those games. Those are some of my favorite PlayStation games. But I'm very curious to see, does this work? I bet it works. Like it'll meet all of its expectations. I bet. Will it sell quite as well as Spider-Man? Probably not.
Right, and I think that's like completely reasonable to sort of forecast about what this game's going to do, just because, like I said, because we know the pedigree. But both, chats bring up great points. Like Spider-Man is a great game on its face, but you're also being sold the ability to like swing around a 1-to-1 Manhattan, and like just do that for endless hours. Like I don't discount how amazing that is, right? Like someone said, in Wolverine, you're just a dude. You're just a guy with like knife hands, right? Again, not to water down Wolverine, and I think but like,
looking at those trailers, it's like you get an idea like pretty quickly. It's like, okay, they're making a different game. This is going to be a game about smaller set pieces and like using some of Wolverine's abilities, like his ability to like smell and sniff stuff out to do.
Sure, he's gonna smell all the colors, all the bodies. Yeah.
Right, and he'll use that to do like detective work or whatever. Like they're like, okay, well then now I can like move on to the next thing, and the next thing will almost invariably be a very cool action piece.
Right,
and I trust Insomniac's ability to deliver that. While I love Spider-Man. One of my recent other favorite games on the PlayStation is their Ratchet and Clank game, the Rift Apart. And that's kind of somewhere between these two games maybe. And it's like, oh, they could just do anything. So a lot of faith in Insomniac. I think my worry here, excuse me, it's not that this is not going to be a good game. It's going to deliver the goods, right?
Right. No, that's not the worry. What is your worry? Your worry is that it's just not going to do as well.
My worry is just like is Spider-Man so popular,
right?
That when they put out Wolverine and it's like, and if it does like 90% of Spider-Man, I bet that is their expectation actually. And
it is kind of cool that they've been presuming, right? Like we're just living in the real world here, right? Like we're just making like thoughtful analysis. Like there's no way that there is an expectation from being greenlit for this thing, like, oh, it's going to do better, right? Like there just can't be. And I think that's, there is a bit of sigh of relief that is allowed to be a sort of business dynamic that is being allowed to happen, right?
Yep, exactly. All right, let's take a break. When we come back, plenty more to get into. If you want to skip it on these ad messages, there's a way to do that. Just go to giantbomb.com/join. We have ad-free versions of the shows there. We will be right back. All right, we're back with more Game Mess Mornings. Jeff Grubb, Jeff Bakalar. Let's get into this next story. Xbox console price increase in Europe and UK has been fully revealed, with the Series X now costing €200 more. This is from Chris Scullion at VGC. The extent of Xbox Series X and S price hikes in Europe and UK markets have now been revealed. Xbox confirmed back in June that it would be increasing the price of the Xbox Series X and S consoles on August 1st. We're past that now. At that time, however, it only opted to share the U.S. price increases, including an increase of $100 for the 512 gigabyte models and $150 for its 1 terabyte models. Now that price increase has actually been implemented, the full leap in cost for players in Europe has also finally been revealed. As noted on the Reset Era forum, the price hike in Europe is €200 for the 1 terabyte model and €150 for the 512 gigabyte models. In the UK, the price increase has resulted in a £170 increase for 1 terabyte models and £130 for 512 gigabyte models. Basically, it's kind of in line with what people were expecting, maybe on the higher end. But yes, just across the board, much, much more expensive. And yes, this is the price increase that we've been talking about for a few weeks now. There was 2 last year, 1 this year so far.
Think what I'm going to do now is take my Xbox Series X and return it and get
right. Yes.
Get $800 for it.
Yeah, just put it in the box.
Credit.
Get store credit at the Walmart.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
I've decided right here and now that is what I'm going to do. I have a PC and Game Pass, so I don't miss anything. What am I doing?
Yep. I mean, listen, I occasionally like see my Xbox. Look, there it is.
Yeah,
that's about as much as I do with it these days.
It's somewhere. I'm sure it's plugged in.
I don't hate the Xbox. I like using the thing occasionally. At this point, I'm very used to the way it works. But it's like that's not the conversation you're having with anyone when they're talking about its future. You're talking about its ability to sort of deliver fun, exclusive entertainment you can't get anywhere else in a way that's like, okay, and like your friends are going to be there. It's like, no, your friends are going to be on PlayStation, and most of the games are going to be available elsewhere. There seems to be a couple of exclusives, but you can get those on PC. So if that's in the conversation for you, suddenly an Xbox doesn't make a lot of sense. But they did just say in their financial report to investors, so they're not just like blowing smoke. This is something they're saying to investors, that the core of the Xbox business is to like grow consoles again. Like it's about consoles, the core of our strength, they said. I think that's kind of how they phrased it.
We've seen the forecast for hardware costs, and we feel confident in this assessment.
Right, exactly. Like, what are you talking about? There's already been, this is the third big price increase over the last year and a half, and I don't think we're done. Like everyone keeps saying prices are going to keep going up for RAM.
I saw a story where someone was like, "Yo, 2 terabyte NVMe drives have gone down 4%. We're saved."
Yeah,
and it's like, buddy,
that's just like small little market corrections here or there. Like, yeah,
copium.
There's Chinese like RAM modules are showing up in like Lexar's RAM sticks now and stuff, and everyone's like, oh yeah, that's great. It's like, yeah, but the demand will just swallow that as well. None of this is saving us.
Get out of here.
But yeah, Microsoft themselves and others have said like, yeah, like RAM's gone up several 100%. We expect it to double again by this time next year. So yeah, that's a very high price, and that price is going to double in the next year. And this is the thing that costs the most in the console right now. Like, we're not done with price increases. So how on earth are they going to sell more of these things? How on earth are they going to launch new generation consoles for either of these companies in the next year and a half, 2 years? It's not going to sort itself out by then.
Of course not. We've been saying this now for a while. They helped do this, so get fucked.
Right. They know better than anyone that it's not going to stop anytime soon.
Like we got here with no shortage of help from this business. And you sort of make your bed, now you got to lay in it, right? Like, I don't know. It is also crazy to see in real time a company that is like sort of like self-reflectively delusional, right? Where you have this, and a lot of like, they almost have like startup brain, right? Or like VC brain, where it's like, we're raising all this money, we're not profitable, and we're just gonna like stay the course. And there is a bit of that rubbing off in this kind of like shit that they're spewing out, where it's like, we know all of these things are rooting against us and are not in our favor, yet we forge a path forward. It's like, I don't know how any reasonable person can take this seriously.
Yeah, and it's like, I think a lot of people, I definitely see people in chat saying this occasionally, people in comments, and I've had the thought myself of like, they're just trying to push us toward the cloud. Yeah, I mean,
but that's a console ownership.
Yeah, and it's like, it's also like, it doesn't like get rid of a lot of the problems. It's not like the cloud does not require RAM and storage. It does. It requires a lot. That's where a lot of this stuff is going. Obviously the Xbox cloud works a little bit differently than that, but it uses the stuff that it goes into the console, so it's expensive. And it's like, if they're serious about that, you would just expect them to have improved or made the experience of using Xbox cloud gaming good. Period. And it's just not. It is such a miserable experience still of waiting 3 minutes for the game to spool up on some server somewhere. Yeah. And this is probably like a first experience sort of thing. Like, I will check in on this every 3 months or so and just kind of see what it's like. And maybe if you're someone who goes in every day and you're playing the same game, it like keeps your stuff a little bit more ready. It's like pulling my stuff out of cold storage or something like that. But that is the experience that most of these people who might be shifting from console or PC to the cloud would be having. And they just don't, it's not like they're investing in that side of things. So I guess, I think the cynical argument would be, it's like, yeah, they're not investing in it. They're just going to make everything else worse and shittier and more expensive until like, you're like, I guess I'll just go with this other thing that hasn't gotten better, but at least I can access the games here and I can, without having to buy hardware, which is actually the worst experience I could have right now. And
correct me if I'm wrong, but like, it certainly feels like nobody's talking about it, right?
Like you mean like just like conversationally with like friends, like
we're not
like,
tried the Xbox cloud, so it's great. No one says that shit. No one. And not only that, like the education is not there either, right? Like there's no consumer a basic awareness of that stuff. Maybe you see that. I mean,
they tried it with everything as an Xbox, right? That was the idea, and that blew up in their faces, and everyone hated that. And now like every conversation they have, every bullet point they have, is the exact opposite of that. It's like, no, the Xbox is the Xbox, and that's what's important to us. It's like, oh, okay, all right.
I see the badge. I see the badge in places, but it's not exactly an intuitive sort of like understanding of how I'm meant to access it and use it regularly and rely on it. No.
Yep. So yeah, big prices. Like just to give some examples, the Xbox Series S 512 gigabytes is $500. It was $350. So basically, there's just like no affordable Xbox anymore. That's the price of. I think that's more than what a Switch 2 cost in Europe.
Certainly feels like the war in Iran. No plan.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. It's
no
like
plan.
There's just no plan. And they keep saying stuff, and it's just like, wait, how will that work? And so they don't know because there's no way for it to work. In the UK, the 512 gigabyte Series S is £430. So, woof. Yep, across the board, very high prices. I'm gonna see what the high price here is for all these things. The Xbox Series X 1 terabyte is $800 in the USA, €800 in Europe, and £670 in the UK. So just big numbers. All right. Speaking of Xbox, and kind of pertains to this conversation of like where are they headed? What's the strategy? There was a lot of talk over the weekend about Xbox might be considering taking its games off of Steam. And so, they're like, they might be getting very serious about like locking down their ecosystem if that's the case. And very strange, very weird, probably not going to work. It never works for anybody, but maybe it'll work for us leaving Steam. Jess Gordon, I guess, said something along these lines on a podcast. He says people took it out of context. He clarified his weekend remarks. He said Microsoft is not currently exploring leaving Steam. Gears of War E-Day is still scheduled for Steam alongside the Xbox PC store. The more consequential thing that he talked about, though, is that Microsoft and Blizzard have been apparently planning to open up Battle.net to third-party developers. The idea might be, instead of leaving Steam, make Battle.net more Steam-like and welcome in more third-party games. They've definitely welcomed in games that weren't from Blizzard on there recently. Call of Duty's been on there a couple times, things like that. But now I think there was also some like Bethesda games on there, maybe Starfield or something like that. But the idea might be, hey, let's Battle.net has a lot of users that use it every day to play Blizzard games. What if we sold other people's games in there and that just became our PC store? And it's like, I always was like, they might eventually try to do that. I think Blizzard fans will hate it, but they're also not going to stop using World of Warcraft anytime soon, or whatever game they're playing, Overwatch 2 or whatever. So yeah, I could see that being something that they definitely try, although Jez points out he's not sure if this is something that has changed under Asha Sharma. This is something that started before her, and so maybe this is not something they're going to proceed with, but he doesn't know for sure. I think that this, to me, Bakalar just speaks to a sort of messiness of all of the language around the future of anything Xbox is doing, where it's like, yeah, they're going to have exclusives back, but those exclusives are still on PC. And those PC games are also not exclusive to the Xbox store. They're on Steam. So what does it really mean to be exclusive in the first place? It just means not on PlayStation. Okay, what does that really get you? I guess it gets some people excited to get a console, but most people don't seem that great, like, happy about it, whatever. And then what is your like if you are on PC, what does that look like? How are you capturing the money? What is going to happen to the Xbox ecosystem? This thing that like, oh, you get a 30% cut of all of the sales that happen in Fortnite or whatever. That happens on console. That's not really happening on Windows, the thing that you own. It's all that's all going through other platforms for the most part. How do you plan to capture that going forward? And well, leaving Steam was like, okay, I guess so you're trying to go force people back onto your store. Having Battle.net there to maybe catch some people, I could see them convincing themselves that that could work. But even that, like, no, that is for the people already using Battle.net, right?
Yeah, I mean, God, the more we dig into just like the sort of like opaque messaging that it constantly spews out of this camp, even if you were to, I really like, it's so dizzying, right? Like, and seemingly changing week to week. I would. Not even like John Boyes could do like a secret base style explanation of like this is how I could
Xbox like see the graph moving around and it just like falls apart. It like cracks.
Right.
Yeah.
Like my man can break down anything, any complex idea. And like, if you were to give him this, I actually from a friendly perspective, like challenge that camp to like try and explain this to people.
He's gonna be too busy explaining how the Detroit Tigers trading Tarek Skubal is going to lead to a lockout next year, and I'm looking forward to that quite a bit.
Yeah, I kind of don't know, like, at the end of the day, I think what you got to do is you just got to like walk away from all the static and just be like, I can be thankful that there's going to be a way that I can play the game I want to play. And then you sort of have to make the calculus of like, what's the safer platform bet, right, to like make your purchasing decisions on, right? And like, and that's really what it comes down to.
That's such a huge thing, right?
Yeah.
Like that some people don't even put like a lot of thought into it. It's almost like a primal thing of like, I am going to pick my spot, and this will be my little protected garden of the games that I own, and I'm going to hoard them like a little dragon. I'm going to feel good about that. And getting someone to like switch over to Battle.net or something like that is monumental. We've seen Epic Games give away a game per like every 2 weeks or at least every month for years and years now, and that has been their most effective tool, and that has not been effective enough to really turn that into like a true going concern that has anything to do with taking any skin off of Steam's back. It's not even close, and they give it away just games constantly. They also have exclusives that did nothing. They stopped doing that. They funded Control. And they're like, okay, well, we're not going to do that again because that just didn't really turn the dial. And Control's awesome. It was Control. Maybe it was Alan Wake 2.
Alan Wake 2. Yeah,
it was Alan Wake 2. That's right. Thank you. They funded Alan Wake 2, and it's like, yeah, that didn't move the needle. And it's like, so they have some tools in their toolkit at Xbox, but it's very similar to what everyone else has. And this idea that you could change player behavior is, I think we've seen over and over again, just not true. It's not going to happen.
That's right. It's there are a few things that are this sort of like immovable, right? And this
Mhm.
feels like one of those where you can, even in the constantly dynamic and changing landscape that we exist in, this just still feels like a real monolithic force.
I think maybe the one thing we're not taking into consideration here because we don't know the details is Project Helix. If they launch Project Helix with a like sort of unified platform store where it's like this is a PC, but it's also an Xbox, and we're going to present to you an Xbox store first,
Brother.
but you can also get Steam and Epic. I know, and get Epic
Brother.
on there or whatever.
I have an Asus ROG Ally X that says otherwise. I
Right.
just like, you know, like that thing. It's cool. I use it, but I fight it.
Their ability,
And
their
it
ability to
fights me
deliver
back.
this unified experience, right? That and in a way that like makes sense for both the user and them. I have almost zero faith in their ability to do that.
And you're just basing that because you see numbers and understand like what it means to go 0 for 23 on something.
Right. Like,
You know?
they haven't been able to figure it out on the PC. Like,
yeah, man. The operating system monopoly that they own.
Right.
Not directly, right? Like
Yeah.
it's crazy. It just that needle cannot be threaded for whatever reason.
All right. Ubisoft's NFT RPG Champions Tactics, which is a thing that was still happening, is shutting down shortly after. Right? Oh no, my NFTs.
Oh no,
my apes. Shortly after it scrapped its blockchain use, Ubisoft has announced that its NFT-based role-playing game Champions Tactics is shutting down. The company launched its, quote, Web3 competitive turn-based RPG in October 2024, which sees players assemble groups of 3 characters to battle against enemies in turn-based combat. The game's controversy lay in its Web3 functionality, where each character essentially functions as NFTs and could be purchased with in-game currency or cryptocurrency.
fuck out of here. What are we
Ubisoft
doing?
stepped away from the game's Web3 technology in May, telling players it planned to progressively transition away from blockchain functionality. Now it's announced that the game will be shutting down entirely in October, 2 years after its initial launch. I mean, man, Ubisoft, this just feels like you didn't know this was a bad idea.
Yeah, I wish someone warned them. I wish they had like I wish they could have like
Anyone
read the
said
tea
anything.
leaves, right? Like
Right.
man,
I feel bad for
oh.
Ubisoft. Someone should have said something to them.
It's really, really sad that no one took the time to like call them out in a very public way and be like, yo, maybe this is a fucking horrific idea.
Maybe this thing that you're trying to get into is only for buffoons, and even they won't spend money on it, really.
I mean, look, Ubisoft, there are dozens of companies who are not receiving that message.
Yes.
So why should Ubisoft be any different?
Let's keep going here. Square Enix insists that Cursed Kingdom Hearts art was not AI generated. This is from Claire Lewis at GameSpot. Last month, Nintendo's Direct was full of all types of treats for Kingdom Hearts fans, including the announcement that native versions of the entire Kingdom Hearts trilogy will be coming to Switch 2 via the release of Kingdom Hearts Collection. Players did not respond well to the trilogy's key art, which Square Enix shared on Twitter shortly after the announcement. Players quickly noticed several strange details in the image and accused Square Enix of using generative AI to create it. GameSpot reached out for comment at the time, and Square Enix has now decided to clear things up. According to a statement shared with GameSpot, the Kingdom Hearts collection 1 through 3 art is not the result of AI. We're aware of feedback regarding recent Kingdom Hearts visuals, reads the statement, which was shared via phone call with a Square Enix PR rep. These assets were created by our development team without the use of generative AI, and the issues resulted from human error. Some of the issues being referenced here include Donald Duck having 4 fingers on one hand and 5 on the other, the hands on the clock tower appearing warped, the Keyblade's keychain links appearing uneven, Sora's crown-shaped belt chain links melting into each other, the absence of the crown-shaped pattern usually seen on the bottom of Sora's shoes, and various clothing zippers seeming to fade into nothing, among other issues. Look, if it was like 3 of those things, I'd be like, all right, human error. Or maybe it's like flipped around in so many things. It's like, yeah, did you hire a child to do this that had never seen Kingdom Hearts before?
Look, the one little like, you know, morsel of a treat we can all kind of have as we spiral deeper into an AI driven hellscape is that these things are like easy to point out, and when something looks like it, you know what you're looking at, and you're just like, I don't fucking trust these people. They suck, right? Like whether it's like a local ad for some sort of like, they all have this like very weird porcelain kind of like uncanny thing, and like spotting it is now fun, and you can throw tomatoes at them, and it's like this thing. I don't know how like. And like everyone's triggers, everyone's sensors went off on this thing. So what's going on?
I mean, and it's like, this is where we're at too, where it's like the argument is like, oh no, we fucking suck actually. Like, no, and that's what you want, right? We're humans that suck, and that's way better than the AI. It's yeah, but why do you suck? Why does this thing look so lazy and bad? It's a weird situation to be in. I mean. I don't know if I even trust them on this, but it kind of doesn't matter at a certain point. The thing they put out was garbage, and doesn't that just make people worry about the overall quality in general of like the things they're delivering? This is the quality control you have on your art, which God, we've worked with various companies before, even just from like the PR side of things. They're so particular about every detail and how this stuff gets talked about and covered. And the idea that does not extend to the key artists that are going to put this, like, there's no way, right? So
it's Disney.
It's Disney. Yeah. Right. We know for sure how Disney treats this stuff. Horror stories of like trying to get Disney to agree to a couple of details on like changes on characters in like Star Wars games or whatever. The idea that this got through, it's like, what is going on? And does that signify bigger problems?
Yeah, a lot to worry about and a lot to question. I don't know. So many other things have been called out for so much less.
Yeah. Yep. All right. Well, we're running out of time, so we'll just move on. But the Square Enix's whole situation with how it's handling like Kingdom Hearts and like upgrading from the cloud versions to the non-cloud versions on Switch 2, or the lack thereof of having an upgrade path. It's just frustrating. It's like, oh yeah, this company is still kind of lost in the woods and doesn't really know what they're doing a lot of the time. Saudi Arabia's EA deal is going to close tomorrow. Just kind of like final update on that. It seems to have passed all European Commission regulatory hurdles. We got some details about the ownership split. Saudi Arabia's Public Investment Fund will own 93.4%. Silver Lake will own 5.5%. And Jared Kushner's Affinity Partners will own 1.1%. Good for you, Jared.
I'm psyched for you, bro.
Psyched for you, dude. EA is going to be exiting the public market after 36 years. And this will be the largest leveraged buyout in history, which is always, we've said it before a million times on this show, but we'll keep pointing out that is probably going to lead to worse games from EA, even separate from Saudi ownership, which I guess we're not really sure how that will manifest. I think we can assume it will, based on how SNK is gone and like some friends of MBS have shown up in the game, in those games or whatever. But the leverage buyout and having to service this $20 billion in debt first and foremost before you pay anyone or hire anyone or expand is just going to lead to less money going into these games. And then the games having to squeeze even more money from their audiences, something that EA was not shy of doing already. So how can it get any fucking worse? It's going to be interesting to watch, Jerf.
I mean, when we talk about it being bad, like this, man, I don't think you can really overstate the sort of like long-term effects something like this comes with, right? Like and I think even though it's like, it's just so easy to just say, right? You're just like saying that, but like, man, there is so much underneath all this that will impact pretty much every facet of this industry for the foreseeable future. It is very tough to keep your head up when things like this go down.
Yeah, I was talking to Mike about it. Mike kind of did a quick Google of like what games are coming from EA already, like this year, like before this deal went through. And it's the sports games and then just Star Wars Zero Company. That's basically it. And so they're already like putting out kind of fewer games than they ever have before. They seemed gun shy. And the argument could be made, it's like, oh, now they have private ownership. Does that give them more freedom? And like, I just think we look at the situation here and the leverage buyout aspect of it and have to say, no, It is going to have to be more conservative. It's going to have to be more gun shy. It's going to have to be more risk averse in sort of every aspect. And then on the other hand, it is going to have to be more aggressive about making money from things that are already successful. And so all of the enshittification, the ways that like college football has already gone from being this darling to this miserable experience of people hating all the transactions to the point where it's like when that game popped up or this year, a few weeks back, Bakalar, it was in several mainstream media outlets covering the backlash to that game. I think there was, is it Pablo Torre? His podcast covered it and stuff like that. So it's out there. People are already feeling bad about it, and it's gonna get worse. All right, I guess we'll see what that looks like.
Yeah,
all right,
well, it's tough.
Let's wrap it up. Tomorrow, Tuesday, August 4th, EA's, like I said, this is going to wrap up. Beast of Reincarnation, Game Freak's action RPG launches on PS5, Xbox Series, and PC. It's day one on Game Pass. I guess we should expect to see reviews of that here at some point. That's coming out tomorrow. Big Walk, the cooperative game from House launches on PS5, Switch 2, PC, and Mac. We played on PC. I've heard Switch 2 might be a little rough. So keep that in mind, everybody. Maybe go check out a few more reviews. Final Fantasy 14 launches on Switch 2. I'm very curious to hear from Mike about this. He's played a lot of that game. I want to see, like, I know he said he's going to pick it up on Switch 2. I want to hear what that's like. PlayStation Plus is adding Dying Light 2 Reloaded Edition, Big Walk, and Signalis through August 31st. The previously unreleased Virtual Boy games Zero Racers and D-Hopper join Nintendo Switch Online Plus expansion pack. And then let's see here. And then Fire Emblem Direct is happening tomorrow. So yeah. All right. Let's see here. That does it for the headlines. There is no poll question from Friday because we did the Bomb 12. So as a reminder, the new Bomb 12 is up on giantbomb.com. Go there, scroll down, check out those games, see what people were playing last week. And then on the left-hand side there's a vote here button. Click on that. You can, you'll get a Google form, add your game that you're playing this week. And we will wrap those all up into one nice package for y'all on Friday with the new Bomb 12. Looking forward to doing that. Looking forward to another good week here at Giant Bomb. Let's see. Speaking of Giant Bomb, what do we have going on? There's all kinds of stuff happening all the time. But I'm not sure if we're having anything else live today, but we're doing some recordings. We got, like I said, the Big Walk Quick Look went up. There was another Quick Look that went up over the weekend. I think that was Pathogenic. Me and Chuck recorded that. That was a lot of fun. And then, yeah, expect, I guess, Cyberdillo. I guess I'm going to be playing more Cyberdillo.
You act like there's a chance you won't be. And I feel like
maybe I'll die and I won't have to.
Sure, there's always that. Yeah, that could happen. And you won't have to play the bad game. A man can
dream.
I mean, look, I'm looking forward to my recording today.
Yeah.
That's how I live my life.
Yes, we will record some more Sewer Shark. There will be some more Sewer Shark episodes going up of This Is the Run. Lots of cool stuff happening on Giant Bombs. Tune in for all of it. Jerf, yeah, let's tell people one more time about Cat Jerf, man. I think we're going to launch the first episode this week. I think that's the plan.
Yeah, I don't want to give anyone false information. We'll message out appropriately when we know for sure. We got a couple in the can, but we want to make some more progress on it. I wonder how many it's going to take. We're kind of doing it like 1 hour at a time, but this is just a game that is just begging to be made fun of. In the best possible way. Like it's a B game. It's like a bad B game. Like there's B games like the quality sort of as a side. It would like make sense if it was on MST3K. Like I was just gonna say this is a mystery science game for sure.
Yes.
So yeah, we're having a lot of fun with that, and I'm really looking forward to that coming out. And also like I know there's art being made for it, and I haven't seen any of that yet, so I'm excited to see some of that stuff. Yeah, we're gonna have some fun. So I mean, stay tuned, and that's coming.
Once the audience sees it, there's gonna be a lot more art of you.
Yeah, we don't have to worry about that. Yeah, well, whatever. Maybe we won't show me. I don't know.
It's gonna be choice. I am looking forward to it.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, it's fine.
Plenty of cool stuff happening on Giant Bomb this week. All right, let's see. I think with all that out of the way, we have a new poll question. Are you getting Big Walk? I'm just curious. This audience, I think, many people would like it, but there's always that barrier of like, can you get friends together? I understand that. That's definitely something I struggle with. So Curious to see if people are going to turn up for Big Walk. Yes or no. We'll get the results, talk about it on Wednesday's episode here on Giant Bomb. All right. I think that's time for us to get out of here. Bakalar, thank you so much for hanging out with me today and talking about video games, man. I really appreciate it.
My pleasure. Love being here. Thanks for having me.
Thank you once again. Thank you, everybody, for watching and listening. You are the best audience in gaming. Until next time, have a good one. Take care of yourself. And everyone remembers the nipples. Don't forget.